to the kingdom of Israel! Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
The book of Psalms, chapter 16 and verse 11. It says, "Thou wilt show me the path of life." So we're on the path of life. The path of life leads to paradise. The path of life leads to glory, which the glory is the kingdom of heaven. And we're on that path of life. We're walking on the path of the tree of life to gain eternal life.
Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothed the grass which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
To eternal peace and joy.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, all right, is dealing with a bigger picture mindset, or rather, with this live stream is a bigger picture mindset. When you go into the scriptures, you see our forefathers and even, a few of our foremothers, they operated from a bigger picture mindset. It wasn't about, their situation. Okay. They was very nation minded and they was very, faithful to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay. They was about, fearing the Lord in the moment. okay, and not trying to preserve themselves, okay, not trying to serve themselves. You see, they wasn't concerned about their situation, okay, in moments of trials and temptations, okay, they were thinking bigger picture. Matter of fact, let's get this with the book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 23. It says, and he said unto them, ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. Okay? You are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. And he was speaking to, you see, how was Shah speaking to the scribes and Pharisees, the wicked scribes and Pharisees. Okay? The Sadducees, the Pharisees, certain scribes, which were, do boys for the Roman Empire. Okay? And they was complacent in those lots. They had turned the priesthood into a political office for the Roman government. Okay? And they was getting, perks and, wealth and, certain networks and businesses and, okay? Just like a sellout nation for America today. Well, these leaders, okay, Yahweh Shai is addressing, okay, these priests, all right, will sell out to Rome, and they was content. You see, they was okay with their situation being okay, and the nation be through, and not only the nation through, financially, okay, and resources, but they had no spiritual leaders. There was no sound doctrine going forth. There was no prophecy going forth. Okay, Jake was just chilling and being puppet leaders from Rome. Okay, so Jake was literally poor, spiritually poor. Okay, they wasn't trying to work out any deals to get any type of relief for Jake or nothing. Just they was content with their situation being okay, but the rest of the nation being through. They were just concerned about their situation. They just wanted what they was happy to get. As long as they was winning, they was good. Okay. And how Shah told him, like, you from beneath, man. So that's a beneath way of thinking. If the only thing that matters is our situation, how we feel in the moment, what we want, and that's a beneath way of thinking, man. And seeing the truth, we gotta mature past that, man. Even Yahweh Shai the cross. What if Yahweh Shai had that mindset when it was time to go on, all right, based on what he wanted? Okay, think of that, man. You see, we wouldn't have the sacrifice. We wouldn't be here, man. Israel wouldn't even be a nation. You see, and Yahweh Shai operated based on how he wanted, how he felt in the moment, or he felt some type of way. Okay, he wanted his lick back. You see, nah, man, he thought about the bigger picture. Yahweh Shai mindset was based on a bigger picture, man. This is Matthew 26 and 36. It said, then cometh Yahweh Shai with them into a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me, because it was the time of the crucifixion. So he has a very heavy spirit on him. He has a very heavy spirit on him because he understands what he's going to go through, the torment. He knows his whole life, okay, that it will lead to this moment. It says, and he went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. Okay? Not as thou wilt, but as thou wilt. You see? So he prayed for this cup to be removed from him. Okay? He was in the flesh. He wanted another way. You see, he wanted to complete the mission, but he was asking, okay, is there an alternative way I can do this? Is this the only way? He's in the flesh. You see? But then he said, what? Nevertheless, not as I will, not about what I want, but thy will, the will of the Heavenly Father. Okay? It says, and he cometh unto his disciples and finding them asleep and said unto Peter, what could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And like, Eliashua woman been going into, when you go into this account, man, your house shot was frustrated, man. He wasn't saying this like, Shakespeare. We read these things, in this old English, and you can think of a Shakespearean play, the dialogue. Nah, man, it was some emotion. You're frustrated, like, God damn, y'all can't stay up, man. I brought y'all out here just to, help me go through this, man. But it was his, okay? It was his to bear. And that's another thing, too. We got certain things that we got to bear on our own, man. It ain't meant for nobody to help us bear certain things, man. Certain things we got to overcome. The body is here to help the brotherhood, okay? And for a lot of things, but then there's certain things the Most High, he want us to overcome ourselves, man. Certain things that we gotta fight through, man. Okay? There's certain flaws that the Lord want us to deal with on our own, man. It ain't meant for nobody to help us carry certain things, man. Certain things that we gotta overcome on our own. Certain little BS that's in us flaws, we gotta overcome that on our own, man. Okay? There's things that the body assists with, and then there's things that we gotta overcome by our own, man. You see? It says he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them sleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. So he asked 3 times. All right, and did get no response. And he understood, okay, it ain't about what I want, it's about what got to be done. That was the confirmation. It wasn't about what he wanted. It was about what needed to be done. Okay? It said, then cometh he to his disciples and said unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands, all right, of sinners. Okay? So this was time for him to be betrayed, all right, into the to the Sanhedrin, and the Sanhedrin would deliver him up to the Roman government, all right, Pilate. Okay, and he had to drink that cup. He had to complete the assignment. He had to fulfill the will of the Lord. Okay, it wasn't about what he wanted that time. You see, and he came to the understanding. So by the time he got to Pilate, it wasn't much. It wasn't much to say, man. Nothing to talk about. And that's the thing too, man. Brothers, as we realize, because as we mature in this thing, we realize, okay, this the assignment. This is my life. This is what the Lord want me doing. Ain't nothing to talk about. Ain't no compromise. That's why he wasn't trying to talk his way out the crucifixion. Okay, he wasn't trying to justify himself. Wasn't nothing to talk about. He knew this is what I gotta do. He locked in. So as we understand, as we begin to understand our portion in this thing, man, hey, lock in. Ain't nothing to compromise about, ain't nothing to talk about. We ain't gotta explain, look, this, no, man. You gotta get over that, man. You see? You try to explain and justify everything. So I gotta, man, damn that, man. We getting we growing beyond that, man. This what it is, man. Okay? We locked in now. You see? Because it's bigger than us, man. Okay? And most people not gonna understand that it's bigger than us, man. Most people don't see the bigger picture, man. Okay? Most people want what they want. They want the results that they want. Okay? So let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which though so easily beset us, and let us reign with, it's like, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, man. Okay, so we lay aside every weight, everything that's a hindrance, everything that can, weigh us down in this thing, man. 'Cause this is a marathon, man. We don't need any unnecessary weight, certain sin, certain vices, and you see, certain things, man, the Lord require us to shed. Okay? Because what we on assignment, man. It's bigger than us, man. It's bigger than what we want. It's bigger than what we think is good for us or how we think things should be. Nah, man, it's about the assignment. So if something is a hindrance, somebody is a hindrance, man, it gotta be set aside. Okay, we on this marathon, we on this assignment, man. We on a bigger picture. We gotta finish the mission. Okay, our little personal wants ain't at the forefront. And we serve with just power. He gives us certain things. He gives us every need. The scripture say he gives us every needed thing in due season, man. I fully believe that, man. And I can witness to that, man. The Lord has given me every needed thing, everything I need, to do what I gotta do in the truth, man. The Lord has given it to me, man. I'm not lacking anything, okay, when it comes to what I need to complete the mission, man. You see? The Lord adds, just like he said, he gives every needful thing in due season. When it's time for me to have something or to switch it up, he give it to me. Okay? Whether it's a necessity, all right, to forward this truth, okay, or even, a little bone here and there, and they're still forward the truth. Whatever it is, whether it's, a little want on the side, you see, it still goes into forwarding the truth. Or whether it's a necessity or whatever it might be, man, it all goes into forwarding the truth, man, finishing the assignment, man. Okay? Magnifying, our office, man. Okay? Verse 2 says, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. And what was the joy? Was it his own personal agenda that he had that was his joy? No. Okay? To be a sacrifice, an acceptable sacrifice to the Father for Israel, man, beginning with the elect. Okay, so we will have grace in this time, so we can be part in these last days, man. Okay, so we can reign with him when he conquers the planet Earth in righteousness, man. Okay, so we can, so a little one can become 1,000, a small one become a strong nation, man. So we can walk streets of gold. Okay, so we can see the earth, all right, give forth their strength, be a paradise, man. So we can be immortal, so we can be likened unto him. Okay, for us to be kings and priests and gods in the earth, man. That was a joy that was set before him. He was thinking bigger picture. You see, that was a joy that was before him. It was a bigger picture, man. Okay, despising the shame, because that was a shameful death, man. To be at the mercy of the Romans and niggas, man. He had to throw himself to, and be tormented by Romans and niggas, man. Think about it. And he did that because he had a bigger picture mindset. He wasn't thinking about himself. He wasn't thinking about his ego. Okay? How he thought things should play out. No, he knew the script, man. He stuck to the script. You see? And it said, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. And we always get into this word author. Okay, let's get this word author. Get this word.
Strong's G 747, Archegas. Archegas.
Archegas. All right, said the chief leader, the prince. It says one that takes the lead. Okay, it's the main definition. It says one that takes the lead in anything and thus affords an example, a predecessor in a matter, a pioneer, man. So Yahweh Shah was a pioneer of how we should be, man. You know, selfless, man. Yahweh Shah was selfless, man. You see, there's no place in this truth for selfish agendas. And you see men that have done that. Look at the outcome and look at what they produce. Okay, these guys that came, all right, and made this ministry about their own selfish, okay, agenda. Okay, they want to be celebrity. They want to, get the bag. Okay, they want to, do this, do that. And the truth became about them and their agenda and what they wanted, how they wanted things to be, how they want things to play out. Okay, and you see the results, man. You see? Well, now, man, there's no room in the truth. Okay, there's no room in the body of Yahweh Shah for a selfish agenda, man. You know, this thing is this is a selfless, okay, journey that we on, man. Okay, and we're constantly learning what it means to be selfless and have a bigger picture mindset, to be nation minded, to be kingdom minded, man. Okay, I look right now don't matter like that, man. Okay, should be a lot of emphasis on the right now. And then going back into it, man, like me personally, man, serving the Lord has benefited my right now more than anything I ever done. Okay, He's taking care of my right now. The more I serve Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, the more I take this thing serious. Just me speaking personally. Okay, the more the Lord serves, I mean, it's like the more Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, you know, he he deals with my right now. You know, he adjusts my right now to be even in a better position to serve, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's get some more accounts. Let's get this in. I always like getting this one. It's a great example. And see these things, give us and see we have these accounts and these records and they show us how to be. We have these accounts and records of our forefathers. I say even a few of our foremothers, and they show us how we should be, man, how we should move. Okay, when you go to here, this is they left a standard for us to follow, man. They left a blueprint. You see, and that's more valuable than actual wealth. To leave a standard of righteousness behind, so for us to follow, because this mindset is going to get us into the kingdom. Okay, to where it's going to be another word for wealth. It's going to be another word for abundance, man, in the kingdom, man. Okay, so you go here to 2nd Maccabees chapter 6 when you deal with our forefather Eleazar. Okay, another example of selflessness. Okay, bigger picture thinking. Okay, it was bigger than him. All right, now when you go into 2nd Maccabees 6:18, says Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh, but he chosen rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spitted forth and came of his own accord to the torment. Yeah, because they wanted him, to eat swine's flesh. This was during the time of forced Hellenization, by the Greeks. All right, this was during the time of the wicked nigga Antiochus Epiphanes. Okay, verse 20 says, as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things, as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted, but they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. Yeah, so these niggas was offering, okay, swine in his wicked feast. Okay, and remember it said because of old acquaintance, which means they had a good relationship with Eleazar. Okay, because Jake be so stand up and so solid, man, that even the heathen, you see, he be cool with Jake, man. You see, but he didn't care about the relationship that they had. It was bigger than that. Okay, and then they said, look, well, just act like you eating meat, act like you eating the swine. Okay, verse 22 said that in so doing, he might be delivered from death, and for old friendship with them find favor, man. So they were like, look, man, cause they ain't want to have to torment him. Like they really like showing that they really like they was they had reverence for him. You see, they didn't want to do it. You see, it said, but he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them, all right, straight ways to send him to the grave. Yeah, so he had considered like, man, I've been serving the Lord since a child. I've been faithful to my power as a child, man. Why would I get in my old age, okay, and portray my power just so my situation can be cool? Okay, he probably, had grandchildren. All right, he was 90 years old. He had probably great grandchildren, maybe great. You see, sons, daughters. Okay, he had a situation, but that didn't affect his decision making. All right, his personal situation didn't affect his decision making in this moment. Okay, he knew it was about the glory of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. Okay, and and what he did was invaluable for us to have this story, to draw faith from today. Okay, it said, for it becoming not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 4 years old, all right, and 10, which is 90 years old, were now gone to a strange religion. And so they, through my hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and not get a stain to my old age and make it abominable, man. So he's like, look, and then, because if these heathens, looked up to him, imagine how Israel looked up to him. So he understood he had influence, man, and he had used his influence for wickedness, man, for his own agenda. He didn't use his influence to preserve himself, man. He had opportunity to preserve himself, man. Okay, but he didn't do that. He said, look, to live a moment longer. And that's how it's going to be with the sea here. Okay? Jake that's been, doing all these teaching and debates and podcasts and these celebrity Israelites, man. Okay? These guys going to be taking that sea hill just to live a moment longer, man. Okay? And have that stain added to, their name, man. You see? But no, Eleazar like, no, I'm not gonna do that, man. Okay? Or to live a little longer and then influence, my people, you see, to do wickedness, man. Okay? It says, for though For the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Here they understood judgment, man. Okay, he knew the Lord could judge him, torment him. Okay, while he was living, and he knew the Lord could give him horrific death. It said, "Wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself as one as mine age required, man, an elder that's a faithful elder." Okay, the scripture say, you look at our elders, how they have a good report. Eleazar, he's one of those, through faith. Hebrews 11. Okay, it says, "And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws." And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. Okay, so he said, "Look, I'd rather leave an example of righteousness, man, than to worry about my own little personal situation. To show my people, look, it's better to die willingly and courageously, okay, for Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, okay, than to do wickedness to preserve yourself, man." So this is a great example of, thinking bigger picture, man. And we have this notable example today. We can read this and draw from this, man. We're gonna be in a situation, man. We're gonna be thinking of Eleazar. We're gonna be thinking of Yahweh Shai. We're gonna be thinking of Daniel. All right, the three Hebrew boys, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, man. We're gonna be thinking of our forefathers, man. We're gonna think about even you go here. Let's get this. Let's get this in the book of Genesis, man. When you go to this story. Now Exodus, like the book of Exodus, the first chapter. Let's get this account, man. Bigger picture thinking, man. And I always go, to these women. When you go here, the Exodus 1:11 says, started 13 says, in the Egyptians, all right, made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they were made to serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, all right, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. So wait a minute, these women feared the Most High over Pharaoh. Okay, they was ordered to unalive, the men child, all right, the men children of their nation, man. They said, we're not doing it, and that was they could have died for that. And these midwives, you don't think they had families and husbands and children? You don't think they had their own situation? Okay, but it was bigger than that, man. Like, we're not killing the men of our nation. We're not doing that, man. Okay, these are our men, man. These are the lineage. These are sons of God, man. You're not killing them. Okay, and they had to calculate a death in the equation, man. They could die for that. It says, and the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you not done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as these Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. They were telling Pharaoh, look, man, we can't keep up, man. You see? They told them, look, we can't keep up, man. All right? They stood on it. It is what it is, man. We can't keep up. It was on Pharaoh to accept that or not. They could have got put to death right here. Okay, but it was the Lord that preserved them, man. Okay, but they could, verse 19, they could have got put to death, man. Pharaoh could have not accepted that. All right, that excuse, man, and put them to death. You see, but they were thinking bigger picture, man, because eventually who you would get? Moses, man. Okay, that will be born during this time. You see, and would deliver the nation. You see, they was nation minded. They were thinking bigger picture. You see, he said, therefore the Most High dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty, man. And you best believe those women are back here today, you know, and they're gonna be blessed, man. Okay, and they're not thinking about, you know, themselves, and, you know. You see, now you best believe those women in a good situation, man. Okay, from the win, the Lord got them set up to win, man. Okay, nation minded, big picture thinking, man. Kingdom minded, man. Okay, that's toxic nigga culture, that selfish, me, what I want, what I think, how this affect me. You know, that's that black nigga toxic culture, man. You see? So let's go from there. Let's get this in the book of Hebrews. This book of Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews 10 and 5, it says, wherefore, when he cometh into the world, this is Yahushua, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared me. Okay, wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he said, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. So Yahushua knew, okay, that he came into this world to be a sacrifice. You know, and he knew that the Lord was done with accepting, you know, the sacrifices from their first covenant. You know, the animals. He had to be that sacrifice. You see, he understood why he came. He understood that. You know, that's why his life was about him being the sacrifice. That's why he didn't get entangled. He didn't have a family, you know, with the women. Nah, he didn't get entangled with their children. Nah, man, he didn't want to compromise the assignment. Okay, it wasn't about him. This life, when he came as Yahushua, it was all about him sacrificing their life, man. Even before the actual crucifixion, man, he sacrificed that life, man. He didn't get involved in anything, man. Okay, he didn't get involved and have no personal life like that, man. Okay, when you go to the book of St. John, chapter 12. You know, he knew he was born for that assignment, man. That's what that life was about, you know. And as which, you know, we have our little personal things, man. But then what John the Baptist say, I must decrease and he must increase more and more. Okay, our life is geared towards the interests of Yahushua. You know, we begin to serve the interests of Yahushua more and more. Okay, this is John 12 and 27 said, now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour, but for this cause came I unto this hour. You see, he understood, for this cause I came unto this hour. He was troubled because he knew, you know, and he's going to be tormented, man. Okay, that crucifixion, man. You know, imagine you somebody tell you this time next year you got to be crucified. Okay, how heavy would your spirit be? Okay, how troubled would your sleep be? You see? So he was like, look, this, I know for this hour, for this cause, I came unto this hour. You see, but it was going to bring glory to who? The Heavenly Father. You see, it wasn't about what Yahweh Shah wanted. You see, it was about the glory of the Father, man. Okay, and what needed to be done for the nation. Okay, and he fulfilled their duty, you know, as a king. You know, like a king, you know, being selfless. One thing, a trait of a king has to be selfless, man. You see, a righteous king has an attribute of being selfless, understanding the duty to the nation. Okay, St. John 12:28 said, Father, glorify thy name. Then came there a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. Okay, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. You see? So the Heavenly Father is going to glorify his name. And Yahweh Shai had to be what? A sacrifice before that to happen. Because he glorified in ancient Egypt. And he's going to glorify this time with this Exodus, man. But first, Yahweh Shai had to be that sacrifice, man. Okay? You know, this life is about us learning obedience, man. As sons of God, it's about us learning obedience, man. Getting it right. Okay? You go here to Hebrews 5:8. It says what it said, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. Okay, and that's Yahweh Shah. You know? And he learned obedience by the things which he suffered, man. It's for us to learn obedience, man. Okay, this life ain't about our personal interests, man. It's about the bigger picture. Doing what gotta be done. And doing all things for the elect's sake. You see? Because you know, serving Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man, it's the highest privilege you can have in existence, man. Okay, and the Lord knows our daily needs. It's a thing of faith too, man. You know, when we think we gotta put so much emphasis on our personal interests, like the Most High ain't gonna provide. You know, no, the Most High gonna provide, man. Serve the Lord, he gonna provide. Of course, you know, we have to be responsible, okay, reliable, okay, adults, of course, man. You see, but we don't have to. Our life should be revolve around our personal interests. No, our life revolve around Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Everything else is something to do on the side to maintain ourselves, and he can enhance that. You know, serving him, he can enhance. You know what we got going on the side. Okay, so that's the point. You know, Lord will. You know, you brothers and you few sisters were edified once again. And we give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elder GMS, who will teach well, being an example towards our brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation, hopefully, Shalom.